Let's just go and we'll just work with the chaos basically. Yeah, right. We are here on Downing Street and we've just had the November 2025 budget delivered by Chancellor Rachel Reeves. But what actually happened? How does it impact you? And how do I actually feel about what went on today? Yeah, I know there's a lot going on around me, but we're just gonna have to work with it. So the first thing that happened that I want to talk about is the income tax frozen thresholds. We knew that obviously the Chancellor had come out and said that she wasn't going to touch income tax, VAT or national insurance. Those were her big three from the manifesto. But actually freezing the income tax thresholds does have an impact. And that frozen threshold was obviously originally frozen until 2028. It's now been increased until 2030-31 tax year. So just a reminder, when it comes to income tax thresholds, you have basic rate 20%, higher rate at 40%, additional rate of 45%. The thresholds come in up to 12,570, you pay nothing. Between 12,570 and 50,270, you pay the basic rate at 20%. Between 50,270 and 125,140, you pay 40%, and above 125,140, you pay 45%. There's also a 60% trap, but I have an income tax video specifically on this, so go and look at that one. And the frozen thresholds basically mean that we're going to all be paying more taxes as our wages rise, because the thresholds of these taxes aren't rising with wages or even inflation. Right now, I think if it had risen with inflation or wages, that personal allowance of 12,570 would be around £15,000. So when it comes to all of this stuff, when it comes to the frozen thresholds, it does actually mean we are going to be paying more taxes, even though the tax rates themselves haven't risen. We did see tax rises, a 2% tax rise on dividend, property and savings tax. So that will have a direct impact. Sticking with income, the national living wage rose to £12.71 an hour. So the idea being that it's around £900 extra a year. But the thing to talk about here is this actually impacts businesses, and specifically small businesses. If you're a huge company like Tesco or a massive corporation, raising the minimum wage, great, it goes into the pockets of the people that really need it. But if you're a small business and they raise the minimum wage, you have to pay that. The government aren't subsidizing that, which is why, it's good and it's bad, because it can be really detrimental to employment, because people then think twice about employing when that income amount has gone up. Next up is a tourist tax, around £1 to £3. This will be implemented by councils in the cities themselves. So it's been implemented all over the world and most people are very familiar with it. Amsterdam took a bit of a hit from it, but most countries, it's just part of the city experience. And we're now seeing that is going to be implemented in the UK. Next up is pensions. So from 2029, salary sacrifice pensions above £2,000 will be hit with national insurance. Will this deter people from putting into their pensions? Unclear. But when it comes to the workplace pension, one of the biggest benefits is the tax relief that you get from it. So I'd love to hear what you think about that. Also, an abolishment of the child benefit cap brings 600,000 kids out of poverty. Obviously, they should have done this. When it comes to that cap, it refers to universal credit and child tax credits. It's not child benefits. It's a bit of a confusing one, and I can go into it another time. There was also an extension of the Help to Save scheme. So this gives you an additional 50p for every pound saved, specifically for low income families. And ISAs, really importantly that we understand ISAs themselves. So you can still contribute £20,000 to your ISA in total across those four. However, what you can contribute to cash ISAs is being dropped to 12k from 2027. So we've got a bit of time before that's implemented. The thing is, we saw state pension rising, we saw wages rising, we saw tons of things going up, but we also saw some sort of stealthy taxes and some fiscal drag going on that does impact the everyday person. So you must be aware of it. If you have any questions when it comes to the budget, please don't forget to put them in the comments below. I'm going to do some additional videos on this and talk about how it impacts the everyday person. But this is me, live from Downing Street. I'm now off because I've got to do some radio, some TV, everything in between. But thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.